We don't want to be. Oops. At least I didn't say Twinket.
You did now. Hey everybody, welcome to the Lionspridetavern podcast number 48. Tonight we talk about our weekend raid. We got some awesome emails from our fans. Plus, we interview one of our fans that joined our raid team, Charity. But before all that, let's start off with introductions. I'm your host, Fafford. I play a Dwarven Beastmaster Hunter in the awesome game World of Warcraft. Next up is JobUi.
Hi, I'm JobUi. I play a Worgen Frostmage.
And Lorelei.
Hi, it's Lorelei, your Night Elf Fury Warrior.
Epistle's not here this week, so we have Donnabelle stepping in.
Hi, I'm Donnabelle. I do the protection around here.
Tapachino's with us tonight, and she passed her motorcycle test.
Motorcycle Mama Tapachino, your Night Elf Restoration Druid.
I love it. And our special guest tonight, as I said before, is Charity.
Hi, I'm Charity. I play a Draenei Shaman.
Awesome. So we're going to start off with Charity and ask her some personal background questions. First, how long have you played WoW? Since what expansion?
I've played since beta. I'm kind of a nerd like that. I don't know, I've been playing for a really long time. It's kind of the place that I go to get away from it all. So it's like my golf, as you would say in the business.
Your golf. I like that. So do you get ahead by getting the lowest score?
Sometimes. Because a lot of people are like, oh, here, I'll help you.
So some of our fans already know this question, or this answer to this question, but how did you find this raid group?
I listened to the podcast. I actually was looking for something to listen to at work, and I have a couple friends that listen to some of the podcasts, but I was like, I don't want to listen to something that has everything. So I was going through trying to find something that just talked about WoW, because I have podcasts that talk about everything. And I turned this one on. Nobody referenced it. I just kind of was listening through different ones, and this was my favorite one. So I started listening to you guys, and I wrote in, and you responded, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, you responded. And then you commented on my YouTube page on an old video when I was doing a lot of videos. And I've actually got more into it recently again. And yeah, I was really excited that you guys reached out, and I've always wanted to do something like that, streaming or something. I just don't have enough reference. So, yeah, that's kind of where... And then we started talking, and I joined. It took a long time because I had so much going on, and you had so much going on. But finally, I joined in, and I loved the atmosphere, even, like... Because I had never watched you guys live raid. I had just listened to you guys on here. So I joined it, and I liked the atmosphere, and I needed some extra raid time for my healing because I tanked with my other group. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Awesome.
And we love your heels.
Yeah, Charity is one of the newest, fastest growing members in Tapachino's raid. What do we call it? Let's see, raid gang? Or healing
Raid
gang? No,
Healing gang. There
Raid
we
gang
go.
didn't sound very good. Healing
Now she's
gang.
got the motorcycle now.
Yeah, that's why I said gang. I was like,
Well, we could say healing pack.
healing pack. Okay, all
But
right.
then JobUi might think we belong to him being a Worgen and all, so who knows?
It's hard because I've always healed, and this expansion I've been tanking, but like I guess the thing that I have to say about it is I get a certain joy out of picking who's gonna live or die. It's my sort of revenge.
Oh, that's
Because-
like my secret. You just gave it away.
I mean, I'm not a revengeful person or a vengeful person, so it's a quiet revenge that nobody knows. That I just, I didn't. I'm sorry. I feel so bad that they died and I don't.
Now,
That's my way of getting back at someone. So
weren't you the first one to sheep JoBui?
I was. I told you.
Look out for Charity.
That quiet revenge.
On the live stream, we had this thing where we're like, oh, well, we're getting the sheep buff, but wouldn't it be cool to sheep a mage? And JoBui's like, you ain't sheeping me.
People tried.
Yeah, yeah.
I was getting chased around by people a lot.
You didn't expect me to come and do it, I think, because I was so new.
It's new and
Well,
quiet.
as you know, as she's in our healing cooldown, you notice I say in the raid, it's like, and Shepherd, whichever you'd like to do when you want to do it.
Yes, so she does go by Shepherd as a tune name in our raid, but she prefers Charity. So, and speaking
I know,
of that,
I'm used to the Shepherd.
yeah,
in the
that's
raid.
that's okay.
All of my streams, all of my game tags, everything usually has Love Sweet Charity in it. So it's just that. And then on World of Warcraft, it's Shepherd. So, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there you go. So I have to tell this story, though, because when you wrote into us, I think you had in your description that you had a YouTube page. So I went and looked, and there was one video, and it's just you in Pandaria pulling this big pot of stew behind you, and you're giggling and laughing, and like it's the funniest thing in the world that you're pulling this big pot of stew behind you. I thought that was great. I said, I got to meet her. So I gave you a comment. So, Charity, what's your favorite mount, pet, or toy box item, and why?
My favorite mount is the smoldering egg of, I think it's Milagazer or Milgazer from Firelands and Cataclysm. And my reasoning is, one, it's flashy and sparkly. And I love sparkly things because, ooh, shiny.
So that I may talk, squirrel!
But my biggest reason is it's kind of my personal trophy. It came from a time when I was running a guild and we were downing content pretty often. I was actually a horde goblin at the time, shaman, and I had a really good, I know, I had a really good group of friends over there. We kind of all came together. We picked our people, and I had somebody running the raids, and it actually was a lot like this group that you guys have going now. And we were just, I think it was a little bit more strict, but not much. And we were all really close, and we got through a lot of content. And I actually got that bird when it was relevant by earning it with my, raid stuff. So, and back then it was like, okay, well, let's see who has been in the most raids and has the most points, whatever system we had. We were doing Suicide Kings, I think that's what it was. And it's my trophy. And so when I get on it, it's like, oh yeah, I earned this, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's why it's so important to me.
Yeah, I have that with the Hearthstone one because I played like 3 matches of Hearthstone or whatever it was to get them out, and then I quit. So I felt I really earned that one.
I can't get that far.
Well,
that RNG, for me.
Well, no, it was, all you had to do is play a few games, and then you got them out for just playing it.
I tried, but I couldn't get past the. Oh, never mind. But anyways,
the Hearthsteed, I believe.
Yeah.
Is the one you guys...
Yeah, the Hearthsteed. Yeah.
It's actually a pretty cool mount.
It is. And it looks really good on a mage, I'm telling you. But Mommy Fortuna, my wife, she didn't even do it. She made her daughter do it. Play Hearthstone for her.
Your daughter do it for me?
She cheated.
See, but that's where the whole, I'm having a really hard time, the low score thing comes in, and then they go and they do it for you.
Okay, all right. So is there a story behind your name, Charity? Or Shepherd?
Well, Shepherd is because I'm a really huge Mass Effect fan, and I'm religious. So it's kind of both. I'm like the shepherd, the person that keeps everybody safe,
Mhm.
because she's a healer. And if anybody that knows what Mass Effect is, that was the main character's last name. So every time you'd walk up to someone, they'd be like, "Hey, shepherd," So it just stuck. I have a Mass Effect tattoo. It's just something that's important to me. I love the saga of that game. And then, yeah, so it kind of was something easy to stick in there. My other character's name is Echo, which is my other main that I tank with. And she is Echo from Dollhouse. And, yeah, I got that from there. I just really liked that show.
So, Durag, if you didn't know, is a huge Mass Effect fan. So you guys will have to get together.
We're gonna have
yeah.
to hash it out.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's got like one of the ship models, and he's
Yep.
crazy for it.
I have a light and a couple other things, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. All right, members of the Lions Pride Tavern community. Next week, so next podcast, is our 1-year podcast to date.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel old all of a sudden.
Oh my goodness.
Now, we didn't do a podcast every week throughout the whole year, so that's why there's not 52 podcasts. But podcast number 49 will be our 1 year. And so between now and next time, if there's anything you guys are fans or anybody wants us to talk about special or do something crazy special, please let us know. Get a hold of us. I just recently added the Lions Pride Tavern at yahoo.com email address to our description. So in the description, you can get a hold of Lions Pride Tavern that way. You get a hold of Jobui. You can get a hold of Tapachino that way. You can go to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com at /Lions Pride Tavern. And there's a email us on that page. You can also go to the YouTube page to find it. The best thing to do is just search Lions Pride Tavern Podcast. If you don't put podcast on the end, you get all these videos about music for a tavern. But if you get the podcast on there, I guarantee you ours will come up and you can go right to the Captain Adonis YouTube page. If there's anything you guys want to see after 1 year, maybe even our panel can come up with something and figure out what we're going to do, because I have no clue.
Remember when?
See, well, Tapachino recommended that because we knew it was coming up, and she's like, "Oh, we should do like all the bloopers from all the old podcasts," and I'm like, "Nope, because that's an editing nightmare. I know that is a fact."
Yeah.
And I don't keep the old podcasts, so even on our website, which is podomatic.com, that hosts us, I only keep the last 10 or 11 episodes. I have all of them from episode 1 on my hard drive, but it's already the edited version, so I didn't keep any of the raw. So I can't go back and do bloopers. So unfortunately, but we got to come up with something. I mean, even if maybe we'll all play kazoos. I don't know.
Ooh,
A lot of
something like
people
that.
do Skype stuff or live stuff.
Well,
But I'm sure I know you guys aren't comfortable with live stuff.
no, it's easier not to be live.
Yeah. We don't look as crazy or as much, mess up as much.
Well, I just have this vision of Tap going, "Twink it."
You are
Live
never living
on the
that
air.
down.
You are not.
No.
I'm never gonna let you live that down. We spent 20 minutes while she tried to say the word trinket.
And of course, I had to put it in how many times in that one paragraph?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's like one paragraph. She said the word "twink it" like 7 times, and just had to start over and over. It was hilarious for us, and we could like hear the frustration growing.
Oh, and she was.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant by
don't be
remember
messing
when.
with my buddy.
That's right. You're messing with 2 healing team members now.
Yeah, like the other night.
All right,
That's how you know you're gonna get healed or not.
I lived. I always got to give the healers a tough time, and then they're always like, "We're not going to heal you." Anyway, let's start. Speaking of our raid, let's go ahead and start off. with how we did this weekend. Jobui, why don't you cap us off?
All right, so we went on Friday and got all the way through Desolate Host. We didn't quite make it to Maiden of Vigilance. We had a little hiccup on Harjatan. Had to fix some mechanical problems on that fight, and then we moved on from that. But we got all the way through Desolate Host. Came back on Saturday, and it took us a few tries on Maiden of Vigilance before we knocked Maiden of Vigilance down. There was some hiccups on being on the correct side that were going on, but after a little scolding, people focused in and stayed on their correct sides, or got on their correct sides, and that worked out well. Down Fallen Avatar in one pull, I think, wasn't it? Did it take more than one? I thought we did it in one on that. Do you guys remember? I think it was.
I think it was one.
Yeah, I think we just did it in one pull on Fallen Avatar, and then might have been two. But in any case, we got through Fallen Avatar, and we went on to kill Jaden in about the halfway mark, and we did pretty well, I think. I mean, for our first serious night taking on Kill Jaden, we got through the first phase, first intermission, and second phase got to the second intermission, I think, or just before the second intermission, I think is where we got to, before we died off on that. So we didn't quite see the second intermission, but we made it, pretty far in that fight. We did all right, and people were starting to get the rhythm of it, I think.
Well, when I looked at the logs, our third attempt was our best attempt. It was our longest attempt, at 5 minutes 43 seconds. So, but I think this is now granted. So our listeners know, when we got to kill Jaden, we had an hour of raid time left, and then after Jobui explained it, we had 45 minutes.
Well, there's so much going on in that, and I tried to make it as concise as possible, but I wanted to cover everything, so then we just had to touch on points as we proceeded.
And so I just wanted to say, Tap, at what point did you tune out?
I tried not to tune out, but there was just so much information. I'm like, all right, heal, heal, and heal. Don't stand in this and stand in that. So I don't want to say I tuned out, but I might have tuned out a little bit.
Tuned out.
You remember when I said I'm lost? Just before that.
Okay, all right,
So,
yeah.
so I would say that was probably, I think she said that right around the point where we were talking about the second intermission, where things go dark.
Yeah.
No, I think we were just about done.
And isn't that where we made it to?
Yeah, just about there. Not
Yes.
quite.
Yes.
Well, what's funny is that, I mean, the explanation's really long, and, understandably so. But then when you go through the phases, they're like, bang, 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 and it's like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah.
It was really quick. I mean, compared to the, how much is going on. It's surprising.
Yeah, it does come at you very, very fast in that fight.
It's hard to listen to explanations, no matter how lively. I used to have to we called them simulations, and everybody would groan at me, but we always got it right, because I would go, okay, I'm the boss, and everybody pretend, okay, it's coming, everybody, there's it over here, and they would all pretend to do it on their screen, like they would run to this pretend spot, and we would practice, and then we're like, okay, everybody get it, oh, okay, I get it, and then that's kind of how we did it, because the only way to know is to do it or see it happen.
So you have a different approach to herding cats.
Yeah.
You make them practice before you do it.
It wasn't that hard.
There is a simpler solution to having to give long explanations at the beginning of new bosses that we...
You watch videos?
Isn't there?
Video.
Yeah, if we could get all of the people to watch videos,
Yep, but you
then
can't.
we wouldn't have to do that. And the problem is that I don't know how many times we've been like, hey, everybody go out and watch the video for this fight, and then we get there and we're like, okay, so everybody watched the video. Oh no, I didn't, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And so eventually I just kind of gave up with asking people to watch the video, because they just couldn't seem to find the time to watch 5-10 minute video about how to do the fight.
But you are right. I mean, that is a good way to prepare for the
And if
boss
we're
fight.
having a hard time, we could always go, okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break for ever how long the video is. Everybody go watch it. That's what you're supposed to do right now. You can go
Yeah.
watch a video, but I don't know how well that would go over. I used to do it.
Well,
so
I'm gonna say what will happen is somebody will go, "Can I get a summons back?"
Yeah. I went to go check on my auctions. Yeah, Mac, we get it. You know?
Well, I forget which boss it was. Was it Kill Jaden when there was like a bunch of dragon mounts out
Yeah.
and they're all roaring and it's like I'm like trying to hear and thank God Joe Bowie, you're like, can sorry.
Was that Joe Bowie that said that?
Yeah, because I was about
Yeah.
to say something
Oh.
like, yeah, this is a little distracting, you know.
Yeah, it
Oh.
was for me too. I was just like, okay,
Well,
let's
We
put them on
just
somewhere.
started, and they pulled out their mounts and started doing like mount specials, and I'm like, oh come on, guys. I mean, like it just. I know this part's boring. I don't especially like having to give explanations, but I mean, at least be a little
Well,
Yes,
respectful while
they'll
I
go
try.
quicker if everybody hears what's going on.
I'm gonna give you a big feather in your hat because, like with Nighthold, I started off with the explanations. I think I did Gorath, Demonic Inquisition, and got to Harjatan, and then from there, Joe Bowie took over, and he's taken over ever since. So my hat's off to him. I appreciate the work because he did.
So,
He did a lot of research for Kill Jaden. He really did.
Yeah.
And and it isn't an easy fight. And Lorelei can attest to it. Have you guys gotten it down yet, Lorelei?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
we clear them on normal every week.
Okay.
Haven't done it on heroic though yet.
Yeah.
I found that was the easiest way for me too. That's why we got so far. Is with having somebody that's in charge of just raid stuff. That's their job. And then you have the person that's kind of like the mommy that, okay, now you come to raid at this time. Okay, we need this all set up. And that's what you and mommy are always doing is like making sure everything's set up, everybody's ready to go. And that way, all Joe Bowie has to do is, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. He's the coach, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And it worked that way really well when I did it too. And so I can attest to that.
But like Faffer was saying, when we got to Harjatan, I think it was after he had done a Harjatan, and then we got to, I think it was Mistress Sazine, and he started off and he's like, I don't even know where to start. And I waited for like a minute of him going, I don't know where to start. And so then I was like, okay, so these things are going to happen, and that's going to happen, and that's going to happen. And this is what's going to take place there. We do this and we do that. And he was like, oh, thanks, But yeah, I did. I wanted to give him time if he found his groove on it, but he just was like,
I
he
just
sounded really
did not
lost
know
in
where.
woods.
I did not know where to start. Yeah, because there's so
Right.
much to that to start to explain. I was like,
Yeah.
and lost it from there.
But it's
Sure.
better than my tanking instructions when I did Joe Bowie's job. Oh my god. I used to tell people, okay, you're gonna take Key to the corner, you're gonna be stabbed by him a lot, and then you're gonna turn around so he can stab you in the butt.
So let's just talk a little bit about our flub up in Harjatan. So what do we think caused that, and what do we think what was our solution to getting past it? Jobu, you can kind of explain how we or what we were doing wrong, and then kind of go around the table and talk about something that changed it for us, because we did, I think, 3 polls on that one.
Yeah, I think it was 3. Yeah, I think the thing that was really happening there is there's basically the boss at a certain point does he does an ability with the tanks where other players have to stack with the tanks in order to help the tanks absorb damage. And what was happening is people weren't sticking to the tanks at that point, and then tanks were getting killed off and other people were getting killed off, and it just started picking off people. And the problem was it started picking off the people who were stacking with the tanks while other people were not, and then a few more people would jump in to try and stack with the tanks, and then they were getting picked off. And so it really just was not appropriate stacking, I guess. There was another, I think it's unchecked rage is what we ought to stack for. And I mean, there is another part where we could spread out, where we haven't been. But part of the reason why I think we haven't been spreading out in that part was really so that we could make sure that people were stacked in for the unchecked rage. But yeah, it just got a little messy, I think. And then we had people stack together and move with the tanks as we needed to adjust and all that. We also had a couple people leave their drenching waters in the group. We had to move a couple of times because of that, but that wasn't the thing that really wiped us. It was the lack of people soaking the unchecked rage.
Okay. See, and I, from the other times that we've done it, where we've just one-shotted it, I don't think we ever, not everybody stacked up, because that was the first time since we've done Harjatan that I stacked with the group, and I found it more difficult if the range stayed out. And I stayed out far enough that if I got the swirly under me, I could move it far enough away from the group so when it did the drawing, it wouldn't hit anybody.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to stack on there necessarily in parts of it, but I mean, we have to stack in for the unchecked rage part.
The hardest part about that is that those pools form randomly under somebody, and we all have to move as a group. And I think that's the hardest thing for every group, because we have trouble in ours every week too. In the other raid I go with, it's just a matter of, okay, we're all going this way, and everybody goes opposite ways. Everybody has their, everybody's brain works differently. So somebody will go right and somebody else will go left. Somebody else will move backwards. And we're all doing that. And there's sometimes 20 of us all going a different way. And we just got to, figure out. The best way I figured out is to put marks on the tanks and always follow that mark, because otherwise we don't know where they're going to go.
Right. And that we do that. The tanks are marked, and typically we would follow the tanks as they reposition. But in those polls, and I don't know exactly why the tanks were sometimes going in opposite directions. And
Well,
so
I know why.
Well, we had some folks follow one tank and some folks follow the other tank.
So it split us up.
Yeah, Durag had a brain fart moment in that he thought clockwise meant the other way.
Well, he is from the U.S. and you're from Canada, so.
It's still the same way.
Yeah.
Well,
That might be his parents' teachings. So.
Right? But
Yeah.
he
We'll
just
blame the parents on that one.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, he's used to digital clocks.
Yeah.
But
Everybody should have an analog clock in their house for their kids.
yeah, and we've actually, I mean, we have some weeks where we go into Harjatan and it's just, we go in, we kill Harjatan, we leave the room. And it's lickety split, no problem, one fold, not bad at all. The only one who's dead would be Mac. And then
Yeah.
and then we res Mac and we move on to the next boss. But then we've had other weeks, like the week that I was having to do all of the raid organization stuff. That week we had a hiccup on Harjatan again. We still got through it, but there was a little hiccup going on there.
I think too, we had a lot of healers compared to the size of the raid. Usually we're maybe down a healer and have more DPS. So I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it too, not getting them down as fast.
Do we have I didn't really notice.
Yeah.
I guess
We had like five.
We had
Yeah,
six.
with 5
six
or 6 healers. Yeah, and then like
seriously?
20
Yeah.
or 21 DPS.
Well, you guys should have said
mean,
something. I would
raid.
have gone DPS.
Oh, no, that's all right. I
have
mean,
that.
Well, it was working, so
yeah, it was working. And the DPS, you got to remember the DPS that we had. So on Friday is mainly what Tap's talking about, or not Friday, I'm sorry. On Saturday is what Tap's mainly talking about.
yeah.
Because we had the majority of our, what I call the hardcore core group, which is the people that we've had, since 4 years ago that were there. And they're the really top DPS that were there. And so we didn't have too many of the lower end DPS. So it really didn't make any difference because the extra heals just kept them alive, and you guys probably had a couple breaks there where you're sitting back dreaming about your next motorcycle or something.
Yeah, right.
Well, I did notice that you went down on one fight like 4 times in a row, Tap.
It wasn't 4 times, although
Seemed
it was
like it.
kind of funny being at the, the Avatar,
Yeah.
being stuck at top, and you all look like little ants down there as I was watching you.
That's
you know,
because
fight
that was the
'em.
4th time you died.
No, second.
It might have actually been kind of a cool view to watch that fight from.
It actually really was, because I could see all the strategy. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, wow, these guys are like taking down the earth there in like the symmetrical patterns. There's still places for you guys to like DPS from. It was actually a very beautiful fight from up there.
Well, I have to apologize to our live feed watchers for Desolate Host because that's the first time since we started raiding and taking down Desolate Host that I got kicked off the end, and I'm the one that live streams. So the view was just terrible down
no.
there. I mean, it was.
Are you sure it wasn't Maiden of Vigilance? Or were you at the? Or was it Desolate Host? Can you fall off on Desolate Host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched
So-
him and I waved bye-bye.
You can fall off. Yeah, you
Yeah.
fall
Yeah.
off the edge. Yep.
I didn't even know you could do that.
And here's
Yeah.
here's the thing: when you fall, your view goes only halfway down, but your body keeps going. So
Oh.
you see this little speck of your body, and you're halfway. You can't see anything. I think all you could see was the tank markers.
You know, I thought
Up
there
there,
was an
moving
interest. Speaking of falling off of things, on the Kill Jaden fight, I went after one of the Armageddon spots on the ground and accidentally blinked off the edge. And unlike most platforms you fall off of, it kicked my corpse right back up on top of the platform there.
No
Which I-
way.
Yeah, it just tossed my corpse like back on the platform, and I don't know if that's normal or not because that's the first time I've fallen off of that. And
Did you res from there too?
I don't know if I could have gotten res because people were dying left and right, and then you guys were out of reses and stuff, so there was no reses for me, that's for sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I assume you could probably get resed if you fell off that platform because it certainly looked that way.
It's possible. I mean, I would think that Blizzard would want you to because that's a tough fight. It really is.
Yeah, especially because that one, man, there's so many mechanics that everybody's got to do them, and especially with the Armageddons that are all over the platform there, and people got to run all willy nilly to get to them, and certain people got to get to the big ones, and boy, that's you miss one, and it could take out half the raid if their health's not topped up, So it's a rough fight.
And
Yeah,
it
and
doesn't
then-
help that you called out, oh my god, I fell off. And I thought you were next in line to soak one. So I go straight for the big Armageddon and prepared to soak it, and it killed me.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had no reses.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it was more.
Tap
I
used
was
them
like, I was surprised from going off the edge in the first place. I was like, whoa, I didn't know I could blink off this edge,
Yeah, no, it was funny because we had one of our friends was over at the house and he raids with us, and he's sitting behind me and he's like, no, Donna, no, I got it. And I could hear him behind me because he was sitting on the couch behind me, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But I think, as far as Kill Jaden goes, I don't think it's going to be too awful long before we'll be seeing the end of that fight and downing him. Because it seemed like, as we were progressing in that fight, people were starting to get the rhythm
Yes.
a little bit.
Yeah, I just think the DPS is still a little low. Maybe, I don't know. Healer wise, let's just talk about Kill Jaden. Healer wise, were you guys running out of mana? Dap?
Oh,
Well-
it was rough.
Yeah, and especially at first, because there was so much damage that was being done. In some of the cases where we spread out a little bit, that helped. Oh, am I thinking of the right fight?
I'm thinking it had to do with people didn't know the mechanics that well yet.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that Armageddon, one of the little Armageddons hit, and it put a debuff on everyone. And I think that's what happened anyway. I'm not sure. And this debuff was what was killing us. The whole raid was taking damage the whole time. So, and that's, it was rough. But the next time we went in, it was a little different. And I think it's because everybody got in their spots like they were supposed to. So I think if we just do the mechanics right, the healing will be fine. Because I didn't have as much trouble the next time.
Well, you definitely want more armor on Durag and whoever's tanking this week, because it's not going to be me, because we're struggling with our cooldowns on those Fell Claws, and we're not sure if that we just haven't gotten enough gear to counteract that, because I'm mashing my cooldowns like mad, and I know Durag is too, and he may survive it, but I'm pretty sure it's his purgatory that's keeping him from dying, and I'm just...
Oh yeah, I mean he's been like topping the healing charts, because of his cooldowns and stuff that he's able to use there.
Yeah.
Now, just a quick question on the Fell Claws there, with you guys having troubles with that. Are you guys taking the full Fell Claw and then swapping between?
That's what it was told to me, is that we were supposed to take all 5 strikes of the Fell Claw, and then he's supposed to taunt, and then I run around, and I was trying to avoid the middle, trying to make a habit of avoiding the middle so I didn't get that problem where I had one toe in and getting one shot by the ability there.
Yeah, because you are, from what I understand, at least for the tanking, you guys are supposed to take that whole Fell Claw series each by yourself, which I think lasts for like 20 seconds or something, and then you swap to the other person between casts, and then that way the debuff has a chance to fall off one tank while the other tank is finishing their turn being smacked by the boss or something like that. So I didn't know if that was if you guys were swapping early or something.
No, it was just that his Fell Claws increase his melee attack each strike. So by the time he gets to that 5th strike, he's hitting really hard, and he hits hard in the first place. So it's just like the struggle of, I have to run my cooldowns at a pace, and sometimes with the panic that goes on, my pace falls off, and I end up missing hitting a cooldown of some sort.
Sure. Well, it's certainly, they've certainly made the last boss challenging, which I kind of like, actually.
It's the way it should be.
Oh, it's not a big problem. It's just it's a little frustrating when you're trying to keep in pace, but the pace of the fight itself is accelerating, so you feel that you need to accelerate along with it. When you're as a tank, you don't need to.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but every time, how many pulls did we get? Like, we get 4 or 5, something like that?
5 in. Yeah.
5 in.
5
I mean, each time we did a little better, and we're getting used to where the damage is coming from, and how much, and we did use a lot of mana. We had quite a few tranks going off, so there were times when we didn't have any when we needed them. But like you guys are saying, with the mechanics, it's all going to come together.
Now,
Once
Donna,
people get used to it.
Did you and Drog take less damage when you moved back toward the edge of the ring and you weren't right there next to the that rupturing thing?
I didn't really notice the rupture. The reason I ended up dying was because I stood on it and then didn't realize I did. Because his hitbox is actually pretty big, so I don't have to be on top of him like some of the other fights. So it was a matter of positioning myself at a distance away from the boss, and I didn't take as much damage. It was the Fell Claws that just, after 5, it's just if I don't have the Eye of Tear up, which is my weapon, I'm screwed.
This would probably be the type of fight, I think, where we need to assign tank healers, so that we make sure that, because we don't know like who's got fell claws when. I suppose there's probably add-ons, I'm sure, but like I myself don't know, who needs them, who needs the heals more, except for the sudden drop of health and death. So maybe that's something we can consider for the next fight.
We could do it the way that more end game, I guess, could say do it, and they have like druids are hotting everyone up, so they would do that, and then you'd have like the priest doing the group heals or whatever, or however you want, and paladin doing the tank heals. I don't know like how it's set up now, but I know that they used to have to do it like that when it was hardcore healing more so,
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed it before, and we've really decided that we don't really need to do the assigns.
I don't mean
But at the
like
same
all the
time, oh
time.
no, but I'm saying like for just this fight, maybe that would be something we should consider. Just to make sure that we've got the heals that we need and the shields and stuff on the tanks.
Yeah.
For this fight.
And we have a very good group of healers now.
Yeah, definitely.
Compared, because I think you guys had a lot of druids and priests before, and now you have a paladin and a couple shamans. So.
Yeah, we were definitely.
Yeah, we were very, very druid heavy.
Druid heavy, yeah. So.
Not that that's a bad thing, because I played a druid first. So.
Right, but druids don't have the the big oomph, except for tranquility.
Yeah.
We don't have the big oomph heals. They're all. None of them are really instant. Yeah, they're even the ones that are instant are over time. So, it's good to have that diversity in our healing team.
All right. Well, I was gonna say I got to cut it short because we're running low on time if we're gonna get through everything else. We have a couple of fan base comments. GiggleBiz is the first one, and I think Tap, you were gonna read that one.
I sure am. This is from GiggleBiz sent us a massive email detailing the Kill Jaden fight. He is a vengeance demon hunter in England, tanking heroics, and loves listening to us as he drives the English countryside. He says, and I quote, "Please keep up the amazing work. I drive for a living and look forward to your podcasts and the raids each week." Thank you, GiggleBiz. That was some great advice from your letter as well.
Yeah, literally it was like a 3-page or almost 3-page email. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yes, thank you, GiggleBiz. And I know he came from the Goblin Goldcast. He's been listening to them for quite a while. So we appreciate that. And I'm sure Mac and Dex both appreciate that too, that we're stealing their fans. All right.
Mm-hmm. or sharing.
Or
yeah,
sharing.
sharing.
I didn't hear them until I listened to you guys.
That's true.
So.
That's true, yeah. All right, so the next one's from Alessander, and Lorelai is going to read that one.
All right, Alessander told us, hi guys. He gave us he or she, don't know, gave us some opinions about artifact weapons and what's going to happen in the future. And Alessander thinks that the only way Blizzard can satisfy us when we leave artifact weapons behind is for the power inherent in the artifact to somehow transfer into us. Then we get a res from absorbing several billion artifact power all at once. Or we can blow it all in a Warlord style, enter the portal intro where we find a new green weapon to replace our poor depleted artifact. Or another idea is that the power scaling in Legion has been ridiculous, and we will almost certainly be adjusted down again. And in a few years, we'll be digging the old artifact out of void storage for Legion time walking. Now, I do know that Ian Hazakostas, however you pronounce his last name, did a developer podcast just last week, and he does talk about the artifact weapons and what's going to happen. And from what he says, we'll be able to do some things with it, and they're still going to keep it around. So I think they don't want us to just throw it in the bank and leave it there after all the hard work we've done.
Yeah, because we talked about that last week. I think JobUui had his fair share of opinions on what they were going to do with it. I mean, literally after the billions and billions of artifact power that we came up with, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we max it out, we're talking trillions of artifact power. It's ridiculous amounts of artifact power.
And I mean, it wasn't as long. I mean, the other quests weren't as long as this one, but the legendary ring and the legendary back and all those things were a long quest line, and I've never used any of those things. So since the new stuff has come out, so I just figured once they said that you wouldn't be able to get it again, they were just throwing it out.
I've occasionally used some of my old legendaries in time walking. They can be pretty
Oh.
good in time walking because they scale differently in there.
I have the one that turns you into Taragosa, so I'd always keep that one, the staff.
Oh yeah, I have that one as well.
See, and I like the back that gave you the wings. I just thought that was so cool, and you should be able
I
to
did.
Yeah, that is
transmog
cool.
that.
Or at least let that one scale up. I mean, that was
Yeah.
that
Oh,
was
I'd
a
love
lot
to
of work to
transmog.
get that.
It was.
And yeah, I had to PvP to get that thing, and I don't like
Yeah.
having to do that, and I just sucked it up and did it. And I wanted that to stay
Yeah.
around for a while.
And the interesting thing about the back pieces from MOP is it's the only one that I can think of that they let us transmog. So you can transmog your back piece to look like the old Pandaria legendary cloaks that we had.
Yeah,
but
but
Really?
it doesn't bring the
Oh,
wings
I-
out though.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, but it doesn't bring the wings out.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
That
but
was
it
the
does,
coolest
but-
part.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's the whole reason.
Yeah, but you can get the appearance. I
Yeah.
use the appearance on one of my tunes because it matches his outfit.
I'll take my shield off. It don't go with this mug. I might get one shot, but I'll look good as I drop. Cause sweetheart, it's kinda hard to look this hot.
But but yeah,
Matches my bracers.
but the effect still works in time walking. I mean, if you put it on, if you're gonna do time walking dungeons, and a lot of times I'll hit up my bank and I'll grab a few pieces of my old legendary gear before I run into time walking. It can be pretty good in there.
For sure.
I never thought about that.
All right. Well, I believe it's time to cue the music for Lorelei's Pet Battle Minute.
Hello, Pet Battle fans. So much great news from Blizzard today. Developer Jeremy Fiesel has revealed that they are trying some new tech for 7.3, and boy, is it interesting. Currently on the PTR, the Krissa and Environeer Burt battles will scale to the highest level pet on your team. Yep, you heard me right. Using a full team of level 1 pets will result in the enemy team scaling down to all level 1 pets. But a team of 2 level 1 pets and a level 25 is going to result in an all level 25 enemy team. So don't try doing that. I can't wait to try this since level 1 pets only have one ability. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. Also in the recent PTR build, 23 new pets were added. So get ready to journey to Argus and start searching. Pets will come from drops and vendors, as well as a new achievement called the Family Fighter. For this achievement, you will need to complete the list of Argus pet tamers using teams composed of only one pet family. And lastly, hop on over to the Blizzard store because there's a new pet for sale, and he's adorable. For $10, you can purchase Twilight, a cute little kitten with the ability to change colors. Twilight also comes bundled for $30 with the luminous Starseeker mount, a cool-looking cat that also changes color. I've play tested some teams for the Celestial Tournament, and I'll post one set of the round 1 teams and pet tamers, as well as the teams for the second round on the Lionspridetavern Facebook page. So check it out. And I'll post another set of the first round teams next week. So stop by and give it a look. And that's all for my Pet Battle Minute today.
All right. And then there's
Getting Deeps with JoeBui.
Today's Getting Deeps is all about personal raid choreography. Every raid boss is going to have mechanics that you, as a DPS, are going to have to deal with. It might be to soak some damage, stack up with your team, spread out at a certain distance, or any number of other mechanics. When you're first learning a fight, most of the time you're just reacting. But as you get more comfortable with the way your group is handling the mechanics and what your responsibilities are, that is when your personal raid choreography can make a real difference in your DPS. The key is to plan out your moves. As you're getting used to the fight, pay attention to where and when you can optimally position yourself. Figure out ways that you can do the least amount of running around while handling the mechanics. As you improve your choreography in the fight and refine those steps each time you come back to fight that boss, you'll have more time to focus on your rotation, meaning better DPS. For an example, on the first phase of the Fallen Avatar encounter in the Tomb of Sargeras, I positioned myself to stay at a safe distance, but within range of the Fallen Avatar to deal with the Rupture reality, within range of the Maiden of Virtue to attack her during Cleansing Protocol, and far enough away from other players that I have room to handle Unbound Chaos. If I position myself well, I barely have to make any moves at all during the first phase of the encounter. So while handling the mechanics properly, I have to spend less time moving, less time reacting to mechanics, and more time focusing on my rotation to dish out more DPS. So work on your personal raid choreography. Try to make all your moves as efficient as possible. Plan ahead for each mechanic that you have to deal with, and put yourself in a position where you can focus on getting those deeps.
And then there's...
What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress?
This is Epistle coming home from across the world. Please leave a message on my couch, as that is where I'll be until I get my tank job back.
I love it.
You're almost home, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They hit the Edmonton International Airport.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So they're in
Cool.
town.
It was nice hearing from him in the raid the other day too.
Oh,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, where was he at?
Popped in.
Where was he at?
He was in
Iceland.
Iceland.
They were in Iceland, yep.
Yeah. Got on his phone, he had to whisper because he was going to wake everybody up.
Yeah, I think that was their second time in Iceland during their trip too, because they stopped off there on the way over, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was Greenland, but yeah.
Maybe it was.
Oh, maybe it was
Could be
Greenland.
wrong.
Yeah, they stopped at Greenland first.
Oh, okay.
Next up,
I need a healer. I'm holding up for a healer till the end of the run. They gotta be skilled and they've gotta be calm and they've gotta be second to none. I need a healer.
Hi, it's Tapachino with my Tap into the Healing Minute. I am a little tired putting 85 miles on my motorcycle today, so I just thought I would take this opportunity to recap on how to be ready to heal in your raid. This can also apply to tanks and DPS, so you may want to take note. First of all, be prepared and be on time. Real life does interfere, but if you know in advance you may be late or can't make it, let someone know it if you can. Make sure you have the best in your bag's gear on, and that it's enchanted and gemmed, and that it's also repaired. Have potions, food, flasks, runes, etc. Some raids provide these, but it's always a good idea to have some extras on hand just in case, especially things like mana potions, which, hey, maybe your raids don't have. Get to know the fights by watching videos and reading strategies like we talked about earlier. If you didn't have time before the raid, be sure to listen to the boss fight explanation and ask questions if you're not sure about something. Remember, you can heal better and preserve your mana if you know what the raid is facing from all of the encounters, not just the big damage fights. Keep yourself healed. So important, but sometimes we do forget in the heat of the battle. Right, Cappuccino? And of course, the most important thing is to have fun. We pay every month to play a game because we love it, not because we have to. So enjoy and get your money's worth and keep up those heals. And that is today's Tap into the Healing Minute.
fantastic. You know, I thought we were going to be blooper free for an entire episode.
You gotcha.
Oh, hey, it's never too late or too early, I guess. Hey, at least I didn't say twink it.
You did now.
Evidence.
It's WFN News, Warcraft Fafford News. The Nether Disruptor building is up on the Broken Shores, and it's got the Epic Hunter and Seal Your Fate. Guys, this is where you can get 3, and they're all free because you can get 1 each day. So don't forget, get out to the Broken Shores. The weekly quest is the Battleground bonus event. Blah.
Ooh, what a waste.
No offense
Wait.
to PvPers.
I thought that was just like the week they didn't have a bonus event.
Yeah, that's just the filler.
Yeah, right? That's the filler.
Yeah, I do apologize to our fans out there that enjoy PvP, but most of us are not PvPers.
Yeah, nope.
That's all I
Raiders.
used to
At
do for
least
the
here.
first like 4 years of WoW, but
Enjoy PvP.
I do too.
Some people do.
I actually did too. I did it for a while myself.
WoW tokens are at 135,000 in the States. They're going up. Don't buy now. Yeah, wait. Hopefully we'll start to see them. That's the trend I've been seeing is towards the middle of the month they start dropping, but we'll see. Dark Moon Fair is back. Yay!
Yay, been there.
Yay!
My daughter loves the Dark Moon Fair. And with Tuesday's update, the final boss for LFR killed Jaden / whatever the other guy is, Illidan. Because doesn't he turn into Illidan? I mean, we haven't made it that far. We're still on killing Jaden, but
I don't know what
No,
spoilers
no,
you're
no.
trying to
No
say.
spoilers on this one.
all right, sorry. I'll take that out.
But I can tell you this.
My day is ruined.
I am not looking forward to that LFR.
Oh God, no! I don't even want to go in there. That's just going to be a nightmare.
I kind of am.
I'm going to.
Sometimes I really enjoy watching a train wreck. So like it's like a demolition derby, only in WoW.
Yeah.
How
I
much you
can't. I can't because I'm always yelling at my screen. You're not doing the mechanics.
I'm doing that all the time.
Yeah.
They think everything's a take and spank in there, and
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what they say. Well, it's just LFR.
Oh my God!
is
You don't have
true.
1 million DPS? Kick him out! Kick him!
Yeah.
But but it has been a while since I've seen like the what is it? I think it was on. Was it Archimond that I would occasionally see like 15, 20 stacks of
20.
of diligence.
20 stacks, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I sat in there for an hour trying to get past Archie. And literally we had
Was-
20 stacks, and it's like, oh, you guys, come on. And then finally 2 tanks came in, and they just did the mechanics, and it was over,
Yeah. Well, mechanics can't stress the mechanics enough, even in LFR.
So, guys, we've reached our time. I want to thank Charity. Thank you, Charity, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Aw,
Charity.
thanks for having me. It was just my favoriteest, guys. I'm just the biggest fan.
Oh, come on. I gotta hear,
Okay,
Mindy.
I love you. Bye-bye.
that's
Oh,
it.
No.
I love Animaniacs. It's my favorite show.
Oh no! No!
This was a great
No,
podcast,
no.
guys. Thanks, lady.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Sharm for our beautiful music for our minute, and they're getting back up there past a minute, but they're still our minutes that we do. She does beautiful music. Go visit her website, her YouTube channel. Links are in the description below. Guys, we do this because of the fans, so I thank the fans for listening, especially the ones that have wrote in. Both you guys, Alessander, sorry if I screwed it up. Gigglebiz, thanks. We love questions, so or comments.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So
Hey,
thanks to the fans.
Did I talk over you? Oh wait, besides now, did I talk over you at all?
The power of editing. So thanks everybody for coming. Panel, thanks for coming. We'll see y'all next week.
See you on our
See you
1 year
next
Thank
anniversary.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh yes, please send us anniversary suggestions, please.
Oh, I got something for your anniversary. Don't you
Uh-oh.
worry.
Now I'm scared. Night all.
Good night.
I kissed the Nork and I liked it. The taste of his Bulgur chapstick. I kissed the Nork just to try it. I hope my ally friends don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't mean I'm in love tonight.
If you like this podcast, throw us a like and subscribe to our channel. And please, leave comments or questions below. Maybe we'll answer them on the air next podcast. We are hosted on Podomatic.com. Our website is Lionspridetavern.podomatic.com. AskJobui.com. Our podcast also airs on iTunes for Apple users, Google Play for Androids, and YouTube. Just search World of Warcraft Lion's Pride Tavern podcast. See you next week, and thanks for listening.